What's up, guys? How we doing? Hi, welcome. I'm just moving my chair. I just realized it looks a little awkward. There we go. That's better. Hi, guys. How we doing? Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. We're just going to wait for a few more people to join. Hello, hello. Happy Friday. I can see it today because my screen is a little different. All right, guys, I hope you had a good week. I hope everything's been going well. For those of you who don't know me, hi, my name is Jacqueline. It's so nice to meet you. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Nancy. So I'm so excited to connect with you guys. Carol, happy Friday. Yay! How cool. So nice to meet you guys. My name is Jacqueline. I try to do these once a week depending on my schedule. Normally they start at 3, but I've noticed that there were more people signed up this time at 2. So who knows? Maybe I'll change this moving forward. Kulani, hey, hi Jacqueline, how are you? I'm new and I'd love a card reading if possible. Sending hugs. Absolutely, Kulani. Thank you so much. So nice to meet you. Hi. I've noticed that they've changed the design again. So I don't know what they did, but they changed the insight timer design again. So that's cool. Yes, guys. So while people are joining, for those of you who are new, I'm just going to explain to you how it works. So I always start off with a group reading, just to give the energy of the month. Oftentimes people will find that that group reading will leak into sometimes to their private readings. There's always synchronicities and connections and all that sort of stuff. And then basically how it works is very simple. So if somebody gives a donation, essentially what you're doing is you're just locking in your position and you get a little bit of a longer reading. But of course, this is not expected. So if nobody gives a donation, then I would just start taking questions. But oftentimes it does happen. So I'll go based on the list on the donations. Thank you so much, Tim. So for instance, Tim just gave a donation, so he's locked in his position first. Again, that's not expected, but that's just how it works because I feel like it's unfair if people like obviously pay a little bit of money. So yes, and again, guys, you are here for a reason, though. I just want you to know that oftentimes when I'm giving a reading to somebody else, really a lot of the times, thank you, Kulani, what happens is that people find that they either feel like I'm giving them a reading, and there's always something that you learn from these readings because I'm channeling the information. So I'm a channeler, and I'm not really, I mean, I'd like to think I'm a little smart. Definitely things are coming through. I'm a big personality, so I'll give you guys the heads up. I do swear sometimes, so if you don't like it, just heads up there. I'm very expressive, and I feel it's very important to be able to express yourself the way that you feel comfortable. Of course, I'm not just saying words out of nowhere. It's coming from a place, of course, just to get the message across. But I'm a bit of a character, so we often have good laughs and we have a good time here, and there's a beautiful community. So hopefully it resonates with you and hopefully we connect. But of course, I also work a lot with the angelic realm. So hey, Nicola, good to see you. Shebet, I hope I'm saying your name right. That's a cool name. I've never seen that before. Oh, it's been ages since you've been here. Well, welcome back. You're so welcome. Thank you, Chevette. Thank you, Nicola. You see, some people appreciate the honesty. I'm sure some people who are a little bit more sensitive to things, they might be like, okay, she's a bit much, this might not be for me, and that's perfectly fine. You know what I mean? Like, you should never force anything. But my thing is as well is like, I think, thank you, Nadine. I feel like we can learn something from everyone, even if you don't agree with them. I'm just writing down the names. They changed the whole setup again. What's going on here? I wonder why. It's like the old school way. I used to be able to see people, and now it's like I have to write it down again. So if I miss your donation, please, please, please tell me, okay? And if I miss your question, let me know, okay? Just understand that once I'm in it, it takes a minute for me to catch up with everything that's going on, and also because I'm downloading information. Hi Nadine, thank you so much. I've been great, guys. So I've been really good, very focused this year. I'm very intentional this year with how I use my energy, how I spend my day, who I'm surrounding myself with. I'm very much manifesting a lot. I'm upgrading everything in my life. So this year already, I started off very busy. But that's a good thing for me because I'm a workaholic and I love to work and I love to do a million things. But I've been focusing a lot on working on my abundance, on my business, as well as, of course, my acting career, which has been doing really well. So all this week, I've booked like 2 jobs this week. So that's why I had to move it to Friday. And that's why I moved a little bit later. So there's a lot going on in my life. For those of you who also don't know, I have an animal rescue. So I have a nonprofit animal rescue. It's called the Animals Rights Organization. So in this office, you guys cannot see it, but I have about 40 animals in here. So just heads up, if you hear squeaks or noises, that's what that is. So I do a lot of things. I do many, many things. So guys, it's time. Let's get into it. How much fun are we gonna have? Oh my God. Okay, I'm already excited. I can tell I'm gonna be I'm on fire today. All right, so right now I'm gonna do a group reading. So if you want a message in the group reading, close your eyes, just send me your spiritual team, send me some energy, ask a question. Maybe you'll receive it, maybe not, but just always be open. Thank you, Nicola. Got you down, girl. All right, so Cassie. Oh, your channeling is amazing. Still integrating the reading I had a couple of weeks ago. Aw, thank you so much, my love. I hope you're doing well. I hope everything is going well for you. All right, guys. So everybody, obviously, if you're driving and stuff, use your common sense. Don't close your eyes. Okay, because I don't want to hear it later. It's like, I had an accident. It's like, no. Sometimes you never know. You got to tell people. All right. So for those of you who are ready, settled, just close your eyes and just visualize maybe sending energetic cords to me. That's what I visualize. I see a connection happening, of course, with your permission. And for those of you who don't want that connection, you always have the power to say no. Okay. Very important. You have to remember that you have the power. And this is a general reading, and then I have a list going on right now. Thank you, April. I have Tim, Kulani, Nadine, Nicola, and April right now on the list. So, thank you, April. That's very generous of you. You're so sweet. So let's start with the group reading. I'm going to do my cards. Let's see what the message is for the collective. The collective. I feel like I'm part of like the Galactic Federation or something here. Ooh, I like that. I'm just looking at one of my hamsters. I cleaned his cage and he's like super excited about it. You can see it. Hi, Munchkin. I can see you. Yes. Your handsome little face. Oh, so cute. Okay. Sorry, guys. Taking a minute. So also how I do my readings, I really leave it up to chance. So I actually let the cards fall out. I don't like choosing the cards. I trust what comes out because I find that usually to be the most accurate. Okay. First card we have is Incarnated Cherubs. Great card to have. Then we have the Incarnated Angels. And then we have the Fairies. Okay, so when this card comes up, this is the Incarnated Mer Angel. No, gosh. Mer Cherub. We'll get there. Mer Cherub. Okay, so when this card comes up, hey, Jamie! So when this card comes up, essentially it's like love is in the air, a new love, a new passion, a new something energy. So for those of you who asked about relationships, this is a good sign. This is meaning that you are manifesting and attracting that love. So I have a course, by the way, on Insight Timer, on soulmates and stuff. So I do highly recommend that you do it. I'm going to tag it here now. Here we go. This one is just a great one because it teaches the basics on how to manifest and attract love and also how to heal it a little bit. But this doesn't necessarily have to mean just love. This could mean a new project, a new idea, a new job. So anything that essentially is creating new passion and a new exciting energy. It's funny because I literally was just meditating before I did this, and that's what I was feeling, that excitement energy. So for me, that's a synchronicity because I'm calling in something new in my acting career. And something very specific, and I already manifested like crazy this year. So I know I'm on the right path, but this is very exciting, right? So that excitement is like, something is bubbling underneath the surface. So the next one is Incarnated Angels. Now I love this card. I mean, I designed these cards, but I love this card because what I love about the angelic realm is that it's a reminder that we have to give our spiritual team, the angels, and everybody permission. One of the things, I work with the angelic realm a lot, okay? I don't know why I've always had a strong connection to angels since I was a little girl. And I try to learn as much as I can about the angelic realm. And one of the things that I've learned about them is that most people don't know this, is that you have to give them permission to help you. So they can help you outside of your permission, but oftentimes anything big or extreme has to do with, like, they have to break some rules because they work with the law of consent. So when you ask them for permission, you also have to say, I give you full permission to help me with, because then you give them full range and then they can really have no restrictions to intervene or help or do things outside of your control or outside of whatever you want. I understand that the angelic realm, like, we always think of the angels as like these perfect beings, and they're actually not. There are different levels in the realms, right? So I've heard things about the angels also still having some level of, like, not maybe humanity, but like agenda or intention, because they're working for something greater than planet Earth or within their realm. Anyway, but the point is, ask for help. So whatever it is, this new love or this new thing that you're trying to call in, this new excitement, this new energy, don't forget that you have your spiritual team behind you helping you, and people. Okay, don't be afraid to ask for people to help you as well, because there are earth angels here. There are also just like, sometimes it's just, we just need to ask and we forget that it's that simple. And then the final card, this one, when the flower fairies come up, guys, this is really about self-worth and self-esteem. It's a big issue that most of us have. We don't feel worthy. We don't feel worthy to ask. We don't feel, who am I to even ask that I could, oh, wow. Okay. Bad programming. Okay. So when you come into this world, we don't have any of that. We're here to experience life to the full, the extremes and the lows. So giving yourself permission to experience something amazing is for the greater good. So when we see it from that perspective, it helps us ask for it. But when we make it really just about ourselves and our ego and our pride or whatever, then suddenly we feel guilty about it. So can we make this something bigger than ourselves? Can we make this something greater than ourselves? Because when we experience something, then we give permission for others to experience it too. And when we limit ourselves, we're also limiting others. So we have to understand that we're a mirror for others and we're a mirror to this world. So when somebody does it, suddenly everybody else can do it. And it's the same idea behind here. So as long as you keep yourself small, that's, unfortunately, that's fine. I mean, if you're comfortable in that, but what's the point, man? You've only got one life that you're going to remember anyway. And I'm like, you might as well just go out there and do something crazy and give yourself permission to say, yeah, I want to be a millionaire. I want to be famous. I want to be rich. I want, and again, when it comes from a place of service, from a right place of service, then it's coming from a good place. But if you're coming from a place of, I want to be rich so that I can have vengeance on that person, then you're coming from a place of ego, or just because I want to be above everybody else. It's a very different energy. You can look at anybody else, like, you know, like I was listening to Tony Robbins the other day, and like he was talking about this very much, like, you know, if he was small, he would not be able to make the impact that he does. He feeds billions of people every year. You know, and he does amazing things, and even like in this, in the trafficking, child trafficking industry, he's been doing so much stuff, but he can only do that because he's gotten to the level that he's gotten to. So he's really using his fame, his fortune, and whatever to be of service. And that's the impact that you can have if you give yourself permission, though, and if you, as long as you give yourself permission to be worthy of it. And if you keep saying that I'm not worthy, guess what? You manifest it. So that's it. The end. Goodbye. No, I'm joking. And on that note, no. Okay, sorry. All right, Tim, you're first up. And now I'm going to start doing the one-on-one readings. Ooh, okay, we got to, let me just cross it out. So again, guys, if I forget anybody who's given donation, please, please, please let me know. But I did say the list. Okay, give me 1 second. Hello. I'd like a general reading of sorts. Am I focusing on the right things? I've been doubling down on fitness, amazing, and making time for new friends in town. Good for you, dude. I also have a friend from my salsa class. Ooh, salsa. Sorry, I got a salsa song in my head now. I also have a friend from my salsa class who made it clear she just wants to be platonic relationship, and I genuinely value her as a friend. That's nice, dude. But I'm having thoughts of her bubbling up and romantic daydreams. So I'm wondering if I need to have an honest conversation with her about my feelings, or if I'm encouraging a familiar situation where I just need to choose to respond this time by releasing my desires and appreciate what does exist. So I just want to read that again. 1 second. Making time for new friends in town. I also have a friend. Yeah. So, I mean, Tim, she made it clear that she wants a platonic relationship. I will say, though, I've had people say that to me and then I changed my mind, but not because they did anything different. It's more because sometimes when people let go and if it's right, then suddenly you're drawn to it. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll tune in. But let's see what comes up. I've got a salsa song in my head. Salsa, salsa, salsa. It's a funny song. Oh God. Great. She's began. The mind has started doing weird things. I wish you guys could be in my head. It's pretty funny up there. Ooh. Okay, so you got, geez, Louise, mother and tease, dude. That's a lot. Ooh, okay. I like this. Okay, Tim, you ready? All right. So, first card that you got is five of Ariel. So you need to go through your current challenges alone. Help is nearby. Negative thoughts create self-fulfilling prophecy. So what I'm hearing here is that you're still in a place where you're repeating patterns for sure. You're drawn to and attracted to people who will essentially reject you, and this is done on a subconscious way. Um, Thank you, Tim. I'm reading a message. Thank you, Trish. So we're gonna break this though, Tim. Okay, we're gonna reprogram your subconscious mind, and we're gonna break this cycle. Okay, because that's all it's needed. You are worthy of love. You deserve love. I mean, every time I come here, this is really what you've been wanting for a very long time. You obviously want to be loved. You want to be in a healthy relationship. But like I said in the past, sometimes there's this negative programmings that we have that keep repeating the cycles over and over again. And this is basically to do with shadow work. They're the subconscious parts of us that we've suppressed, disowned, and denied that are coming to the surface, and they keep repeating because they're saying, hey, this needs to be healed. Hey, this needs to be healed. Hey, this needs to be healed. And you cannot stop it until you keep, until you break the cycle. So, a good thing is, again, they're saying you don't have to do this alone. There is something here, but I love the fact that also I feel like with you as well, like you really try, dude. I don't feel like you're the type of person who's like, what, you sit around and just hope for things. I really do feel like you do the work, you're trying really hard, and you genuinely want this. So you are going to get there, but there are some things that we do need to change. And in fact, dude, you've gotten 3 major arcanas back to back, and they literally, like, I cannot even describe it as like change your life, the wheel, and then new beginnings. Okay, so 3 major arcanas that basically are telling you the same things but in different ways. So change your life. So it's the first one. Okay, so one of the things I think that you need to start doing, Tim, is that first and foremost you have to recognize the pattern. I don't think you're aware of the pattern, which is why you keep falling into it time and time again. Now, sometimes the pattern is very obvious, and hopefully it'll become obvious to you. So this might require you to sit down and write pen and paper. But for some people, it's not as obvious because it might be something a little bit more subtle, a little bit more emotional, and it might be more to do with you than the other person. I mean, it's always to do with you, but in the sense of it's not really appearing on the outside because it's something that you're doing on the inside. So I can only give you an example of my cycle, which mine was very obvious when I broke it. It was like I was attracted to people who were violent. I was falling into very violent, abusive relationships. That one's an obvious one, right? Because I'm getting smacked around. So you keep attracting somebody who's treating you horribly. And that it's a little bit more difficult, I think, sometimes when it's just verbal abuse or emotional abuse or neglect, because again, it's something that is still done, but it's not as physical. So I need you to sit down basically and start looking at the patterns. It could also be the type of people that you're attracted to might be the same, right? And we have to remember with love, guys, if you're in a cycle, you sometimes might be attracted to the very thing that you're just familiar with, but that doesn't mean it's good for you. Like I said, for me, I was attracted to people who were violent. I was attracted to them, but that's not a good thing. So obviously, I had to rewire that. And when I met my husband, I was not attracted to him at all. I'm obviously obsessed with him now, but I really had to do something out of like left field, because I was like, if I'm in a room and I'm attracted to that person, I knew that that person had that trait. And so I could not go anymore for who I was attracted to. So it's a bit of a mind F, because you're like, well, what am I going to do? I'm not going to go for somebody I'm attracted to. It was like, yes and no. I mean, my husband is not an ugly guy. It's just what I'm talking about attraction is like that primal initial, like, you know what I mean? You see him and you're like drawn to them. So with my husband, though, he ticked every single thing that I wanted in a partner. Everything. He was kind, he was honest, he was loyal, he was prioritized me, he cared about me, he was consistent, he valued me, he respected me, he was gentle, not an ounce of violence in this man. So obviously he ticked all of the boxes of the things that I wanted, right? That fire in your belly kind of attraction. Yes, and this is also why you're getting obsessed, Tim, because what happens is you start daydreaming, and nothing wrong with that, again, if it's with the right person, but the problem is then it can weird out people who are not reciprocating that energy, right? So you start getting obsessive with the person, and then they can start feeling that because you want something that they don't want, and then it gets weird in that dynamic. So first thing, Tim, I really need you to sit down and think about the cycles and the patterns. What are they? Looking at the type of women that you're attracted to, what is it about them that you want, that you desire? And what is it about them that is familiar? That's a big one, familiarity. So you got to sit down and write it down. Now, I would suggest you can do channeled writing. That's a great way to do it, to discover it if you're not quite sure. This is something that anyone can do here. So to the unhealed version of me that is attracted to or something, channel to me and through me anything that is revealing the cycle that I need to break. And then just let the pen flow and see what it tells you. So recognizing the cycle is important. So the wheel then is like, you gotta basically start moving into a different direction. New beginning, end of delays, a change in direction that offer happiness. So the minute, Tim, you break out of that cycle, you're gonna change things, and it's gonna be fast for you because, again, you're not lazy. Is that automatic writing, Jacqueline? I've been doing that daily. Yes, Nicola, it's automatic writing. Yeah. So what they're saying here is like, listen, dude, you're like at that point where it's like, it's literally around the corner for you. It's not something that you have to work in the next 20 years to get. It's like, it's going to be pretty immediate, but as long as you do the right things. If you keep going back to the same cycle, you're going to keep repeating the same situation, which sucks. You know, obviously it's frustrating because, you know, it's frustrating. So what does that mean? So again, looking at the things that you need from a partner, not necessarily that you want. The need, again, not going from desperation. We're talking about need where you feel safe, where you feel connected, and where you feel at peace. Everything else, like looks and attraction, has to come last. Because what you're really looking for is a soul connection with somebody. Because again, looks and attraction, guys, attraction can be built and looks will die. So these two things, like I said with my husband, I wasn't attracted to him immediately. I became incredibly attracted to him once we connected. But at first I wasn't. So attraction can be built, and then looks, I mean, like I said, I became attracted to him after the fact. So again, that's my experience. Doesn't mean it's going to happen for you. You, of course, I'm not saying go for somebody who's completely like you're not attracted at all. Of course, you want to have some level of something, but not that immediate primal thing if you want to break that cycle, because that primal thing oftentimes is just the karma that we're attracted to, or the cycle, or the familiarity, which isn't always good if your wiring's messed up. If you have good wiring in the sense of like you're attracted to really good people, then go for it. But if for people like me, I cannot do that because my wiring is so messed up that I know I'm going to go for the wrong person. I mean, how many times you have to repeat the cycle to learn the lesson, right? And then new beginnings, okay? So this is saying start a new life, finding new purpose, forgiving of compassionate review of the past. So the other thing that I'm also hearing is there's something that you need to let go of and that you need to forgive, Tim, whether it's yourself, whether it's something that comes up when you start looking at the cycles, the patterns, the changes. Once we start changing, we look back and we're often like, oh gosh, I can't believe I did that. Or, oh gosh, I can't believe I was attracted to that type of person. Whatever it is, because we become different people. And then we're looking at our past going, I can't, like, if I know, I was even thinking about it the other day, the things that I freaking did when I was younger, I'm so embarrassed and ashamed of, but it was coming from a place of unawareness and unhealed, traumas. So of course I was acting like a total idiot, going for men who were in relationships because of course they were not available. I was doing things that now, not in a million years, I would even think about doing. But because back then I had no self-worth, no self-esteem, I was super traumatized. These are the things that you do when you're in that headspace. So planting the seeds and start cultivating this. This is something that you really got to start focusing on, Tim, and start really like putting your roots down in the sense of like, I am no longer doing this anymore. I'm not repeating this cycle anymore. I am going to start everything that I'm going to do from now on is going to be intentional and with awareness and understanding that I have this cycle. And the minute you see anything that is similar, you've got to go the other way. That's the only way you can break the cycle. So with me, I always say I'm going to be a broken record, but with my old relationships, if I saw an ounce of violence or aggression or disrespect from any of my new partners when I was changing this, I would break up with them immediately. And it's not like giving them a second chance, or maybe they just said something wrong, or maybe I didn't. No, 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 no. The cycle's always going to show up. There is no what if, maybe, when, how, walk away. Because then you get hurt or you get, let down or you get a broken heart and you wonder why. Oh, yeah, there were red flags, but of course I ignored them, right? But get this, Tim, I love this. Look. So we have the celebration, the relationship. It's gonna happen for you. It's gonna happen for you, but this is what you gotta do. This is the work, my friend. Okay? And going for somebody who wants you, going for somebody who freaking sees you, dude, who sees you for who you are, who sees the beautiful soul that you are. You're funny. You always make funny jokes here. Like there's so much to you. You have so much to give. And I think that's the frustrating part with somebody like you is because you know that. And you just want to give this love. You just want somebody to accept this love. And you can see all these, so I'm sure you see so many women in like these shitty relationships and you're like, dude, why would you not pick me? Like I am like not going to treat you that way. Hey Nancy, welcome. So I get it. Um, but you gotta break the cycle, my friend. You gotta break the cycle. And again, we always look for the cycle on the outside. It's something that's always within us. So when I was looking at the abusive relationships, I was abusing myself. I had an eating disorder. I was self-harming. I mean, guys, this is a long time ago, by the way, for those of you who knew. But like, I was so damaged. I had no self-respect. I did not have any boundaries. Hello? No wonder it kept appearing in these relationships. It was a mirror to how I was treating myself and how I felt about myself, you know? So you gotta like, again, when I started building that I started taking myself out on dates. I started speaking to myself very differently without disrespecting myself. I started treating myself. I started prioritizing myself. When I started doing all those things, guess what happened? I changed the relationships because you teach people how to treat you. That's the hard thing that we have a hard time understanding. And I have boundaries now. Like I do not put up with certain things anymore. And you're always learning, you're always growing with relationships, guys. Relationships are one of the hardest things to understand and grow in. But the minute I broke that cycle, I attracted better people in friendships, in relationships, in everything. And my life just got better. So does that make sense, Tim? Because you're doing the things, but I don't know if I don't think you're aware of that cycle. That's what it really just comes down to. Oh, you got me right in the feels, Jacqueline. So much of what you said resonates. I slowed down on taking myself into solo adventures. Yeah. But dude, you gotta also understand what you have to give. You remember my Birkin bag theory that I stole from Leo Skepi, by the way. You are a Birkin bag, okay? You're worth millions of dollars. Well, there's a few that is like 2 million, whatever. I don't care. I don't even like those bags. But the point is, the point is, if you give it to somebody who doesn't understand the value of you, they're gonna trash it. They're not gonna respect it. So in a way, you're also being protected subconsciously, because if you gave yourself to the right woman, she's gonna love you and value you and nurture you and help you grow, and you're gonna let her blossom as well. And that's the point of true love. I'm always helping my husband grow, and he's making me feel safe so that I can blossom. And that is so important. And I never learned that until I had true love. So I'll try to writing practice, and I'll see if there's more patterns that I'm overlooked to. I know there's more patterns I need to shake. I need to shake too. I haven't given up. Yeah, and with this girl, like I know the obsession is because Tim, you might again also like I was, you might be attracted to people who don't want you, and it's because it's a self-rejection thing. It's a subconscious thing. So I would let it go if I were you for now, and try not to do much to daydream, because you build up that obsession over something you can't have, which is normal. We all have parts of that. But you want to go for something that wants you. You want to go for somebody who sees you. You know what I mean? And it's a different feeling. I actually read this quote today. Somebody said, you need to do the healing work so that when somebody loves you, you let them. Because if you're unhealed, you're not going to let somebody love you. Yeah, because it's a high, Tim. You get a high of a daydreaming. I used to do it too. I used to do it all the time. I would get obsessive, but it's like a drug. When you start daydreaming and you go into that realm of like daydreaming about what you can't have, it's like gambling. It's like taking drugs. You get that real peak high. So if you're gonna daydream, I'm not saying don't do it, because it's fun, but do it in the sense of something that is maybe not her, but on the person who's meant to come to you. So then you're shifting that daydreaming into something that is manifesting. Does that make sense? So you're actually using your time and your energy to manifest somebody who truly loves you and values you, and not somebody that you can't have, because you're wasting your energy at that point. It just leads you to heartache, because like as the high comes up, you're going to end up crashing and getting the low there. Hey, Nancy. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. So, what's happening right now is that essentially when people give donations, they lock their position in and they get a reading. So, right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 people in line. So, it's going to take a little bit of time. I also am on a time limit today, guys, because I do have a possible pet sitter coming here. Um, but if you hang around, by the end, you can see if I still have time and there's like more people. But yeah, people jump in, and then once they give a donation, they essentially just lock their position in for a full reading. Oh yeah, some intentional manifestation rather than just log. Yeah. You're welcome, Tim. Dude, you got this. And can you do me a favor? I don't know if you want me to hold you accountable to it. You can see on my Insight Timer. You can find my email there, and you can send me the list if you want. So I can actually hold you accountable to do it, because it's one of those things that sometimes if somebody doesn't say, hey, really genuinely sit down and do it, you're not going to do it. So I don't know if that's something that you want, but I'm offering it to you so you can send me the list of cycles and patterns and repetition and all that sort of stuff, so that I can hold you accountable, and then maybe you can follow through with that. Yeah. You're welcome. All right. Who's next? Kulani. Hey guys, I feel like Fridays at 2 o'clock is the time for people to join, y'all. This is like quite a lot of people here today. So thank you so much for being here, guys, by the way. Welcome. Okay, so let me just change the energy. Hi, Jacqueline. My question is that I want to know what will happen in my really nice connection with this person. See, I told you guys the love card came up today. This person, these coming 4 months, I've known this person for a while, and this aspect is also very new. It is full of nice, really clean energy, deep connection, and some complications as well. But, well, nothing serious, of course. I'd love some guidance, please. Okay. Hey, Catherine. Good to see ya. Welcome, welcome, y'all. Okay, so Yeah, that's a good thing. I think it's also sometimes when something is unfamiliar, Kulani, it can bring up old stuff because it's like, wait a minute, this is like, why isn't there bad stuff happening here? You know what I mean? It's like we always expecting the worst. But anyway, let's see what the cards say. Um, okay, these ones. What's up, guys? So yeah, nice to meet you guys. I'm seeing so many new energies today. It's so awesome. I see your little bubble heads down there. Hello. But this is awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out, guys. I so appreciate this. The good vibes. This is such a beautiful community, by the way. I love Inside Timer. I love the people on Inside Timer. You know, it's a healing community, and the most important thing that we can do, guys, is heal and connect. And I think that this is the space to do that. I wish that we were more in a room together, so you never know. How did the auditions end up last time? Dude, I've been auditioning so much I have no idea what's happening anymore. But I've been booking a lot. Yeah, so thank you. I've got a new agent which I manifested this year, so my intentions are very clear. And she's been fantastic. She's been sending me on so many auditions and some network stuff finally, which is what I was trying to aim for. So who knows? You never know. All right. Oh, okay. Okay, so let me just tune in a second. Okay. So, defend your beliefs and decisions, stand your ground, choose your battle wisely. Hey, CG, good to see you, girl. So interesting. I feel like, so whenever I get this card, oftentimes when I get the dragon energy, sometimes this means some level of conflict. So I don't know if this is the thing that you're having issues with, but I'm also feeling like maybe it could be inner conflict. Um, or I feel like you're creating maybe some of this conflict subconsciously because again, Tim is like dragon, and I don't mean it as in like you're a mean person or Mima. Hi, nice to meet you, love. I feel like sometimes if we're used to conflict in relationships and we finally find a relationship that is very peaceful, it's almost like sorry guys, my husband's calling. I'm just gonna tell him that I'm doing a live reading. Sometimes what that means, so sorry. Um, okay, so sorry. Sometimes we're so used to that conflict, that negative energy, even that it becomes a little unfamiliar. So we kind of, and I'm been very guilty of this. We recreate it somehow because it's almost like this is too peaceful, this is too nice, this is so different. I gotta bring in some of the old energy that I've known because what the hell is this? So you can tell me if I'm off or on. Oh, okay, my husband's just finishing work early. You couldn't have texted me that? See? Old habit. Gotta give him attitude. So I just thought it was something intense because sometimes the dogs have run out and stuff. Lavish abundance, give birth to new dreams, nurture yourself and others. Okay. So I love this. So you got two major arcanas here, and then you got the hermit. Okay. So I feel like give birth to new ideas. What it's saying is that like you gotta be willing to be okay with like the new experience, the new being uncomfortable, basically, whatever this relationship. And sometimes it could even feel boring. I heard the word boring because it's not, doesn't have these extremes. It doesn't have these like, sometimes some of us are attracted, addicted to these relationships that are so intense and crazy because it gets exciting. We scream, we fight, we and then everything's great again, and then we scream and we fight, and then we, you can finish the sentence of that one. So some people are just addicted to these extremes, and it's like, if I don't have these extremes experience, it's not really love. And if it's too peaceful and boring and everything's great, then that's not really love. And it's like, no, you got that idea of love from Disney movies where it's like somebody has to like do some extreme thing and slay a dragon or something in order for us to be together. And like sometimes boring is exactly what we need. Sometimes nothing is like that peace. It's probably the best thing for us, but we have this idea in our heads that love has to be this crazy thing. So the point is that I'm trying to make here is that like being open to these new ways of looking at love and experiencing relationships. I think this relationship is teaching you that, and I think that's why you're probably asking about it, because again, it's an unfamiliar territory. It's new. It's like, what is this? I also got the hermit card, right? So I don't know if it's him, a hermit, like he's a bit more of a hermit, or he's like that's the peaceful energy that you're getting. He's just not extreme, or I'm feeling like this is his energy, like he's just very chill. Um, and I also feel like it's for you to kind of like chill you down a little bit as well. Um, But one second, because this card here is telling me a lot. Memories from your history or childhood, issues regarding children, romanticizing the past. So I sometimes what I'm hearing here as well is like I feel like this is related to something, of course, to do maybe children, wanting children or not wanting children. There could be something there. But I'm also hearing this is something from the past. So maybe there's like comparing, or there's like an emotion or connection that you've had in the past, and you might be trying to finding this connection in this relationship and it's not the same. And again, it's like, well, if it's not the same, then again, it's not really love, or it's not true. Am I really in love? Am I really not in love? So one of the things I will say is like time will always reveal the truth. Time will always tell. And sometimes the hermit card as well is like, be patient. You don't have to have all the answers right now. 4 months is really around the mark when you know if this is for you or not. No, I've had to defend some stuff here and stand my ground. And yes, we were both hermits. Yeah, this has been having us sort of the past, actually, a lot of it, thus the complications. Yeah, this has been to sort the past out. Okay, so yeah, past stuff is coming to the surface. Yeah, sort. It's okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that's coming up, past stuff is coming up to the forefront, and healing. And there's a lot of emotions, whenever we get the water, whenever we get anything to do with water and cups, that's usually like strong emotions. And because it's down here, I'm hearing it's like in the subconscious, it's like past and subconscious stuff. So that makes sense. Um, I think that this is a really like what I'm getting from this relationship, Kulani, is that you guys are healing each other in a way, and you're helping each other out with learning something different. And again, that's probably the new that I'm hearing here. So this is a new experience for you. It's a new type of relationship. And standing your ground is great. But also, how are you standing your ground? Like, I'm learning this new thing. I made a decision this year to behave very, very differently in my reaction to my husband and certain things, because I don't want to create a pattern, and I don't want to repeat a pattern. So I'm teaching myself right now, how can I be less reactive, less fiery, and more calm, and actually take time to process things, and then I come to him and talk to him, as opposed to like bleh, you know what I mean, which is what I usually do. Again, I feel great about it, but it hurts him, which is, I don't want that. And also, I don't like the person I become when I do that. So I'm always about evolving, and so I'm learning something new. So when you look at the situation with this person, how can you change that? Again, it's always about patterns and cycles, guys, when it comes to relationships. um, how can you change that reaction, and how is this bringing it out of you, right? Sometimes it's just there and it's obvious and you know what to do, but it's not easy. Yes, indeed. Okay, so it is a lot of healing, and that is a beautiful in its own way. This is true. Yeah, and it's a lot of healing. So if there's a lot of past stuff coming up and you're both aware of it, which is great, it's a great thing, because we repeat stuff from the past, guys. It's like, unfortunately, by the age of 35, we're running on a subconscious program. So we subconsciously are repeating cycles, but not just in relationships, in our behaviors, in our reactions, in our everything. And it's very hard to break. It's not doable, but you have to have a level of awareness. And relationships often are mirrors of the very things that we either have healed or need to heal. And again, you learn all of that in the course where I say attract your soulmate. So I think just look at it as a healing experience, and in time, you're going to figure out whether this is something that you can continue or whether you've learned whatever you need to learn, and then it's time to move on. And I think in relationships, we give ourselves a lot of pressure to find the one, or this is the relationship. And sometimes, these relationships show up because they help us heal the very thing that we cannot bring into the relationship. Because if we brought these traumas and these past patterns into the new relationship, it's not going to work. With my husband, again, he's a very peaceful guy. I am not. I'm confrontational. So if I hadn't done the healing, he would not have put up with me because I'm still very confrontational, but I do it with a little bit more respect than I would have when I was damaged. So you can't bring that into a healthy relationship because the person is in a healthy place and they're not going to put up with it. And then you're going to self-sabotage. So these relationships often are a gift. It's just you don't see it at the time. So take this as a lesson, and how can you transform yourself through this relationship? What is this person teaching you? And again, maybe it is to speak up, or maybe it is to react differently to the way that you speak up. Because I get very aggressive, and I get very, I can actually be even verbally abusive if I'm not careful, because I've had abuse my entire life. So monkey see, monkey do. And I don't want to be that. So I have to work very hard and very consciously to not be that person. And it's a lot of work. It's not easy, because it's easier for me to tell somebody to F off and just, be a total biatch. Makes me feel great, not so much the other person though. And then I become the very thing that I endured. That's how abuse is repeated, by the way, guys. So, you know what I mean? And sometimes it's self-abuse. Sometimes it's all sorts of different things. Great. I'm a nice place with myself, and I'm looking forward to whatever comes. This is lovely. Thank you. Oh, you're so welcome, Kulani. So yeah, so embrace it. And in a way, sometimes, the people that challenge us the most are our greatest teachers, even though it sucks to give it to some people, but luckily there's still love here, and that's a great thing, So I'm excited for you guys. I'm excited for what you're going to heal, because at the end of the day, that's the best thing. And whether this is the relationship that's meant to grow, although I don't really see it, or it's going to lead you into the healthier relationship, then this becomes such a blissful and blessing, because without it, you would not have been able to step into the relationship that comes in. So best of luck. I love it for you. Nadine, you're next, my love. Hey guys, I see there's quite a few people today hanging out. Okay, so let me just disconnect. Okay, hi, I would love a general reading around career, friends, love, and future. Okay, so just like a general, let's see what's going to come up. I have this song in my head now. More grace, more grace. Simple question. What deck is the one that you're using there? Kulani, thank you so much for the question. This is my deck that I designed myself. It is the Realms Oracle cards. So you guys can go to my website in my page, and you can find it there if you're interested in them. Ooh. Sorry, giving the sound effects of ooh, oh, what? No, and I'm gonna don't tell you anything. I'm like, that'll be your reading, just my reaction to the cards. That would be horrible. Okay. Okay, very interesting. Okay, so because you've asked me quite a few questions, it's going to be probably multiple things coming up. So the first card that you got is the Atlanteans. The Atlanteans are making you aware of an injustice in a situation. You are being called to see beyond the illusion being presented to you. They guide you to seek the truth, stand in integrity, and find those who uplift you and help you reclaim your voice. Don't give up. So Nadine, what this is telling me basically is like, it's basically speaks for itself, an injustice, something that isn't fair or isn't right or isn't in a flow state, if you like, is happening right now or has happened and it's affecting you still right now. And oftentimes with the Atlanteans, it has to do with their voice not being able to speak their truth or be able to speak up. So when this card comes up, essentially, this is bringing attention to it because this is something that essentially is a block in your life and it needs to be healed because it's lowering your frequency. And I'm feeling like it's something that like is shifting your attention and it's actually veering you away from the very things that you're trying to manifest or bring about. It could be, for instance, let's just say career, right? You have a boss who is not listening to you or it doesn't see your value or is abusive even, and you can't speak your truth because you're afraid of losing your job or friends or whatever. I'm just giving an example here. I'm not saying that's what it is, but I'm just saying what I'm seeing. So this card is essentially finding your voice and finding your truth and speaking up about the things that aren't working for you. And that can also mean speaking to yourself that truth, because sometimes we lie to ourselves because we just make things okay because we don't want to rock the boat or we don't want to change deep down. Like we're comfortable in like hoping that things will change from the outside as opposed to doing the work. And the day that we say to ourselves, this isn't working for me, this is terrible, then we actually have to do something about it because we can't lie to ourselves anymore. So this is really a lot to do with speaking up and finding that voice and not being afraid to speak that truth within that situation. The next card that you got is Snake People. Okay. So this one, multiple things again, because you're asking me many different things. But when the snake people come up, this is about breaking patterns and cycles within the family. So the snake people invite you to connect with your ancestors and your family lineage. Whatever the situation you are facing, now is the time to heal and break the cycle. Within you lies ancient wisdom, and just as we inherit the lessons and traumas from our family, we also carry their gifts. Embrace this power, for it holds the key to your transformation and freedom. Embrace this power, for it holds the key to your transformation and freedom. So again, I don't know if it's related to this, but there's something here that a pattern, a cycle, and this can also, by the way, this card also represents relationships. So sometimes we end up in karmatic relationships, Tim, where we end up in these cycles, right? And we need to break them to break free so that we can finally move on or upgrade or learn the lesson that we need to learn. So Nadine, I feel like with you, this is multiple things. To be quite honest, I think there's layers to it. I think one is to do with relationship and love relationships because you asked that. So wanting to attract the relationship, the right love, whatever it is. Again, this is all connected to this frequency somehow. And I think it is connected to your family. So an example of breaking the cycle, for instance, guys, is let's just say, we attract alcoholism in the family, an example, or being always attracted to people who abuse substances or people who are angry. So when we break the cycle, we heal that within us and we no longer attract that anymore. And we're not just healing it for ourselves, we're also healing it for the generations prior and the future. The other thing is understanding the gifts within your family as well. So as just as much as we have these bad things and these curses and these negative patterns that we are born into, we also come with a lot of great stuff and we often don't focus on those. So this card is also telling you is like, what are the good things in your family that you have, and to feed that and to be proud of that and to nurture that, regardless of the relationship that you have with your family or with your parents, because these are the gifts that are given to us and it's important for us to nurture that. And I always see them like energy cords, right? So we have the negative energy cord, but we have the positive. So I diminish the energy cord of the negatives and I amplify, reinforce, and activate the energy that is connected to my family on the positive, because like anything, there's good and bad. So which wolf are you feeding? The other thing is that I'm hearing here is that you got the mystic elementals. So open your eyes to the magic that is around you. Nature is constantly speaking to you, offering new signs, messages, and guidance. But are you truly listening? Every rustle in the leaf, shifting in the breeze, or unexpected animal encounter carries meaning. If you are disconnected, ask yourself why. Has doubt, distraction, or fear clouded your awareness? Reconnect with the wisdom of nature and the world, and you will find the answers you seek. Yeah, I feel like I have issues with majority of people around me, family, friends, and even my ex that's somehow always end up back in my life. There you go. Of course, it could be friend and Nadine as well. So this in general, like the snake people, is relationships. But understand that it, again, it could just be the root cause of it could be from your family, and now it's manifesting in other relationships such as friendships. So as you said here, it's like family and friends, right? And I can totally relate because I've had a lot of issues with that, and I'm still healing a lot of my stuff with my family currently. Because for some of us, it could be a lifelong thing. It's not sometimes, oh, the one time that we heal the one thing and it's done. Sometimes it's like an ongoing process, but it gets better and better as long as you do the work. And that's the most important thing. So, yeah, it could be all, you know. And so, what is that cycle that you need to break? And sometimes within that, like returning back, for instance, there could be something like the positive in that could be the loyalty. Even though you messed me up and you were horrible, I'm still going to come back and try. That's a positive, in a way. Of course, the abuse itself is not good, or the negativity, but the desire to try and repair something without the right tools, of course, is never great, but the trying is important. So yeah, there's something there, obviously. And again, if it's not just with your family but with your friend and with your ex, now it's showing you something, right? It's like it's your relationships. You have an issue with relationships, right? And again, most people have a hard time see the best in everyone. The good old I want to rescue and heal you. Listen, that's a beautiful thing that you have. And it's so honorable because I love that in people who fight. But the healer's wound, which we've all had, is like, I unfortunately really got to think of it this way. It's like I extend my hand out, but then they pull you down with you. And then you have to dig yourself out of that hole. So again, I get it. Seeing the best in everyone is great, but are they actually applying and doing the very thing that they need to do? And so I always say this is an example with my mom. Like my mom is one of the most incredible, like she's an incredible artist. Like she could be making so much money if she believed in herself as an artist. Like she still makes art and she sells it, but she could do that full time if she wanted to, but she doesn't have the self-worth or the self-esteem. And this is an example of this, seeing the best in everyone. I spent a week building her a website so that she could try and sell her stuff. I did everything. I took pictures. I said to her, go to the freaking galleries and show them your stuff. Like, you got to put yourself out there. No. Do you think once she used her website? So I wasted an entire week of my energy and my life getting frustrated and angry with her. But if somebody's not ready, there's nothing you can do, man. You can give them the job. You can give them the praise. You could give them $1 million fucking dollars and they still trash it. That's the frustrating part when you see potential in people. It is so frustrating, and I get it. But people like you have to learn to let them fall, and the only thing that you can do is be there to pick them up if they want the help. I know. But it's because, Nadine, also sometimes with people like us who see potential in others, we're trying to heal ourselves through other people as opposed to healing ourselves first. Sometimes we're trying to rescue other people because we don't know how to rescue ourselves, right? So I need you to start shifting that energy towards yourself and start changing that in nurturing yourself first. And I'm not talking about in a selfish way where you're like never helping anybody else. And you got this, one of the things I find is very toxic in the spiritual community is like, I will not have anything negative around me. And it's like, I get it, and protect your energy for sure. But the truth of the matter is, it's like, if you're a healer, what, you're going to go and heal in an already healed place? You have to go to the darkness to heal the darkness. It doesn't make any sense. So you got to build your self-worth, your foundation, so that nothing can sway you. And that's what healing is, Nadine. So when you heal yourself, you can walk into a room full of damaged people and it's not going to affect you, regardless of whether you're an empath, regardless of whether you're sensitive. Trust me, I'm all those things. But I can walk into a room now and be like, that's your shit, I've got mine. And if somebody tries to enter my energy field without my permission, I'm like, back off. But if somebody really needs help, I could see it, and then I can also be in full service and present. So That's how you can really show up for these people. And most of the time is just by being the example. When they see you heal, when they see you change, when they see you rescue yourself and bring the best out of yourself, people become inspired by that. And then they want to start doing the work. And maybe they'll let you help them. Maybe. But they have to come to you oftentimes. You can't push your way into it. Does that make sense? Carol, thank you, Jacqueline. I resonate with me. The message that you gave others very helpful, and I could feel the shift in me thinking. Have a great night, everyone. Oh, thank you. So the point anyway here, my love, is that this is open your eyes to the magic that surrounds you, Nadine. So what happens a lot of the times is that we're very focused on all the things that we can fix and we can repair and the potential of things, as opposed to seeing the things that we already have. And again, going back to that, to those energetic cords, right? So when this card comes up, is like you really need to shift your awareness to what you do have and how you can use it for things that actually want it. So instead of giving your energy and time to people who don't want to change, you could start giving some of that to yourself and then eventually be of service to people who actually genuinely want that help and that are actually willing to be helped, as opposed to people who just don't want to change, because there's nothing you can do if people don't want to change. Yeah, taking it on board. Yeah. So try to shift your awareness, because this is going to help you throughout the year. By the way, it's not just something that we're just saying right now. This is very transformational stuff, because you got to understand, where are you giving your energy? Where are you putting your even your thoughts, your mind? Like even today I went to the gym and I realized, like when I was working out, I was like playing that movie in my head of resentment towards my family, and playing case scenarios in my head where like something would happen with my dad and I would say this and I would say that, and I was like, why am I wasting my energy into that? It hasn't happened. It may or may not happen. This is definitely not making me feel better. And so I started to change my mind into something is like, I could be using this time to manifest, to make myself feel better, to think about how I could be of service, to make my anything but this, right? So yeah, so it's like being aware of how the gift of having your time and your energy is very precious, and it's temporary, guys. We're going to die. We have, and sometimes this is a harsh reality. We're all going to die, and you're going to like, you don't want to look at it and in whatever you pass away and go, fuck, I've spent all this time like thinking about all these things when I could have like been doing all these things. So we have to remember that, and it's a harsh truth, but it's sometimes the thing that we need to wake us up and go, hey, this is an opportunity. It's not something that I have to do. I'm not a slave to this. I choose to do this instead. And when you do that, you can be 20 times more of service to other people. So does that make sense, Nadine? I hope this is helping. And sorry, I'm here. I'm just making sure. Yes, I understand what you're saying. It's just about taking it on board. Oh, you already said that. Sorry. Yeah. So, the breaking of the cycle, though, Nadine, is going to be very powerful for you. And so you got to change the relationship that you have with your family and with these people, and it'll change the outcomes of your relationships as well. So if you can do that, this can be very transformational for you. Okay, so I hope that helped. I'm sending you so much love, and I'm always here as well if you need more help with it. I'm just going to move on, but just so you know, I'm sending you love and light, my friend. Thanks, Jacqueline. Yeah, I just feel like at the moment I'm so overwhelmed with friends and my parents and my family, but I appreciate your time, of course. But you got to remember, Nadine, that you have a lot more power and control over this than you think you do. So stop giving people the power, because we forget that we're actually giving it to them with our attention, with our time. Again, I had to learn this the hard way too. It's like I don't respond to my family anymore when I see the cycle, when they're trying to trigger me or do things old ways or bringing up the old things. I go quiet and I don't speak. I don't engage. I don't interact. I don't give them the energy. And you know what happens? They stop talking, because they know I'm not going to interact with that, and they want that exchange. Oh, the Let Them. Yes, I know. Good old, what's her name? She's great. I haven't read it, but I've heard her speak about it and I think it's brilliant. But yes, that's what you're going to need. Yeah, that's a perfect book for you right now. Let them, but also she said, let them and then let me. So let them be them, but let me choose differently, because that's where you hold the power. No longer they have the power to control you. I now hold the power to control myself and choose what I'm going to do, how I'm going to react, and what I'm going to say. So that's the power in that. All right, Nadine, sending you so much love. You've got this. Nicola. And then we've got April. You're welcome, love. Sending you so much love. Okay. Okay. Hi, Jacqueline. Continue from my last reading with you. Hey, Aggie. Yeah, so right now I have April next in line, and then I will probably still have time, so I'll let you know. Just hold on. Continuing from my last reading with you, the guy who contacted me from the past, we lived 4 doors away from each other when we were married to the other people. We were best friends and kept in touch, but drifted in 2021. We both now divorced, and he is so confident. He's very caring, kind, organized, and he's funny. Not sure my type, but he makes me feel good. We not we not met as his parents are poorly, but we speak daily. I've not met someone so confident, and he helps. Biggest thing he did was threaten my ex to shut up. Who knows my ex? I want to go forward, but still a bit scared. He's so confident, not met yet. We may be twin flames. Twin flames is not always a good thing, though, just so you know. What do you think? We both independent, and he's in consultant manager, and I'm rubbish at it as being an artist. Okay. So first thing is first, let's talk about the difference between soulmates and twin flames, guys. So twin flames, guys, it can be it's exciting. Technology. Okay, got it. Twin flames are exciting, but usually it's a chromatic relationship and it's teaching us something. Um so I find that a lot of karmatic relationships tend to be twin flames, personally. Soulmates is very different. It's like you've agreed to have this relationship here in this lifetime. Well, this twin flames is more like, let's teach us something so that we can learn it quicker. Doesn't always mean it's great. So twin flames can also be like those relationships that are extreme emotions and very highs and very lows and anything and all in between. And then, of course, it ends up sometimes not great, but sometimes it does. Okay, so again, it depends, you know. But let's see what comes up, Nicola. So I'm not quite sure what you're asking. You want me basically to see, hey, Jacqueline. It's just speaking about twin flames. My twin. um, we see going through similarities, but guy is totally child. Mm-hmm. So, what do you want me to like? You just want to see, okay, where it's going. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Anything else? So, okay. So you got the Eight of Swords, caring for yourself. Okay. So a lot of mind stuff. So swords usually means like mind, and I'm hearing like multiple things here. So I think this relationship is really teaching you a lot. I'm just listening. I'm just hearing what they're saying because it's like it's not being so clear. Oh, thank you, Sue. Good to see you. So yeah, so Nicola, of course, you said there was a lot of abuse in the last relationship, right? So this relationship is teaching you to care about yourself a little bit more, right? Which makes sense. So it's filling your own cup. And I think it's good that you are careful. I think it's good that you are putting boundaries up because essentially, in the past, you didn't do that. You just jumped into something very quickly and then you figured it out as you went. And then, of course, by the time you realized something was wrong, it was too late and you were already involved. So I think that's a good thing. I don't necessarily get that this guy is a bad thing, but I do worry about the super confidence thing because that can be a level of arrogance sometimes and possession and like, uh, because at the end of the day, let's be real here. Like I feel like you still have a lot of wounds around relationships, and so it's very. I'm not saying that you cannot attract a healthy relationship, but there's always going to be something there that's going to like not maybe be damaged. Okay, that's good. So he's not arrogant, but he's just confident. That's great, and we love that. Confidence is not a bad thing. Again, I love confidence, but arrogance can be bad. So as long as there's no like there's the confidence and not the arrogance, that's great. Hi, Obadia. So what they're saying, Nicola, is that you gotta freaking relax, dude. Like relax and enjoy it. Why do you keep making problems that are not there? You have this problem where you need to have a problem. And so sometimes when everything is okay, like I was saying before at the beginning of the reading, is like for some of us, we're so used to the chaos, we're so used to something always being wrong that if there's nothing wrong, we're going to start creating something wrong because that's where I feel comfortable. It's like, oh, okay, now this is familiar. Now I'm comfortable with this. So the cards are being very clear. You got to enjoy it. You gotta just chill for a minute. You gotta just take it easy. Thank you, Abidia. So right now I'm having a list going through. So I have somebody else, and then I have possible somebody after that. So just hang around, and once I'm gone through the list, I will let you know, and then I will also take questions, my love. Um, who cares about the age? It's not like, Nicola, age, see what I mean? But you're constantly looking for something wrong. Oh, he's too young, or he's too confident, or he's too nice, or, like even when there's not a problem, Nicola, you might make it a problem. And that's a you issue. That's not a him issue. And sometimes people come into our lives because they're really just helping us to heal. And I feel like this is what's happening. It's like he's teaching you to take care of yourself, and he's teaching you to like the good things. But like I said before, if you don't heal yourself, Nicola, you're going to reject something that might be good for you. And you're not going to let somebody love you. And then you're going to end up by yourself or in another abusive relationship, which is, of course, not what you want. And the reason why I say this is because we go back to what is familiar. So if we don't heal ourselves, we reject something that's good, and then we end up in another abusive relationship just because we're comfortable in it. And it doesn't mean, of course, it's the best thing for us. I know he's helping. But do you hear yourself? You never say anything bad about this guy. You've never said anything bad. You've said he's nice, he's patient, he's confident, he helps me a lot, he's been protecting me. But there's a problem. Where? Where is this problem? You keep making the problem. You're the problem. That's the problem. Okay. And I mean this in the loving way, my love, because you're coming from a place of fear and you're coming from a place of protecting yourself. I don't mean like you're a problem in the sense you're a bad guy, as in like there's no problem, so let's just make it up. So then you become the problem. That's what I mean by that. Um, so what? What's wrong with being best friends? My husband and I were best friends. That's the best type of relationships, man. Again, you see what I'm saying? You're bringing up, Nicola, you're bringing up things that are problems that are really not problems. None of this is a problem because we were best friends before. Oh, that's a real problem. That's scary. Like it doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, because we were friends before, now we can't be in a why? You don't want to be friends with the person that you're having a relationship with? I would like to actually, and my husband is one of my best friends, and I hope so, because if I don't have a friendship with them, then what do you have? Is it just sex? That doesn't sound very exciting to me. I need something deeper than just sex. Sex is like that's gonna die out, you know. So hear me out, my love. So you gotta sort out your mind, okay? Your mind is crazy. You're creating all these problems that don't exist, and you keep picking up things and you're playing this cycle in your head and you're constantly just making shit up, if I gotta be honest with you. You gotta stop doing that. You got to start changing the conversation in your head. Um, I know the hypervision because you got fight or flight, you got a lot of trauma, you got PTSD, my love, and that's I get it. But again, Nicola, if you don't heal yourself, and this is something that you have to do, you can't help somebody else is going to do it for you. And how do you do it? Stop doing it. Stop repeating the same problems. And you got to have to take ownership of that. Yes, your ex was a total douche and he abused you, but now you're abusing yourself because there's no one abusing you anymore. And that's the problem with people who have been abused, is that like if they don't have somebody on the outside abusing them, because they're so used to the abuse, they start abusing themselves. And that means self-sabotaging relationships, that means self-harming, that means drug addiction, whatever it is. That's amazing. I love that for you. So Nicola, one of the things that we can do, can you start changing that problem? But the first thing you have to do is be aware of the fact that you're creating problems that don't exist. Like the fact you say, oh, we've been friends for a long time, or like these are not problems, these are good things. So can you see them as good things and not as bad things? You got to change your relationship with these things and saying, oh no, the fact that we have been friends is a great thing. The fact that he actually cares, it's a good thing. It's okay not to have any problems. What a concept, right? And it's going to feel uncomfortable. And I totally understand. I get it, because if there's no chaos, then what do you mean? You know? And again, pause and observe, like you're creating this. You see, you're trapped by all these things, but you're again creating it. You can walk away from this at any time. And at some point, Nicola, people can only put up with so much. People are only going to tolerate so much. There are very few people who are going to stick around if you don't heal. I know, my love. And I know you mean well. And I know you're just protecting yourself. And I get it. You're coming from severe PTSD. I can tell. I can feel that energy and I can relate to it again. But again, do you want to be taken care of? Like, do you want to be in a connection, a healthy connection? And sometimes we keep blaming other people for shit that happened in the past, which is the cause of it. But when there's nothing abusing us from the outside, then whose fault is it? Okay. And so right now you're in a really good place. Yeah, you're in a really, really good, and this is not a self-punishment thing, okay? Don't go down that road. It's not a self-punishment thing, okay? So don't go and like, oh, it's my fault now and I'm the bad guy. No, 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 no. That's not what we're doing, okay? What I mean by it is like you're just creating problems that are not there and you can uncreate them. So you're in the position of power and you can shift the energy. You can change things now, because before, when your ex was there, you're dealing with somebody else and it's harder to heal because you're dealing with outside energies. So the good thing about this now is that you're just dealing with your own energy now. So when you're dealing with one energy, means I have the power to change that. I no longer have shit coming at me. I don't have to deal with stuff on the outside. It's just me and me. So I can change it because it's just me. Does that make sense? Yeah. So start noticing your thoughts. So Nicola, I think this is something that you got to start doing physically and not just mentally, because the problem with mental stuff, it stays in our head and it doesn't change. So I would suggest, and you got to do it though. You're an artist. You're used to spending times painting and drawing and doing things, right? I do affirmations every single day. And why? Because I have issues in my head too, okay? Now, if I don't write it, if I don't physicalize it, I've noticed I don't feel as good. So I spend every single day writing affirmations on things that I need to heal about myself or that I want to manifest. And so in this situation for you, what I would suggest, it's like for you to do affirmations around things like, it is safe for me to be at peace. It is safe for me to be in a healthy relationship. It is safe for me to be me. It is safe for me to be okay. And you got to say safe. The key word for you is safety, because somebody like you who's had so much trauma and so much PTSD, safety is the number one thing that you need in any relationship, because if you don't feel safe, it's either fight, flight, or freeze, right? And I feel like you're a bit of a fighter like me. So the problem is we're going to fight, okay? And if there's no one to fight, we'll fight ourselves. Okay? Just stop punching yourself in the face. I write an A4 page. So literally I just sit down and I just every single day. I mean, this is like the 20th. That's all I do. Every single day, I just write an entire page. I do my meditations. And because what you're doing is you're rewiring the mind, but it has to be physical. I mean, just before this live, I meditated and I sat down and I did my affirmations very quickly. And I've noticed a big difference if I don't do my affirmations. Affirmations changed my life, changed my mind. For those of you who don't know, by the way, I see a whole bunch of people joining again. So thank you guys for being here. I suffer from mental illness, depression, anxiety, PTSD, you name it. I have a lot of abuse in my childhood. So I had to rewire my brain. And I knew that sitting there and thinking about it and dreaming about it wasn't enough. I had to do the practice. And to this day, I still do it. Why? Because it works. I didn't believe in it at first. I thought it was a bunch of woo-woo. But guess what? What I was doing wasn't working. So how's it working out for you? Not great. So start doing things out of your comfort zone, even if they feel silly. No one cares as long as it works. Yeah. Love that. Okay. So all you need to do right now, Nicola, is don't focus on the relationship. You've got something good going. Nurture that. But the number one thing that you need to change now is your mind. You gotta stop going back and looking for problems that don't exist. You gotta stop creating problems that are not there. And this is just a safety mechanism that you're doing. This is just a normal knee-jerk reaction. And I don't think you're aware of it. That's the only problem. It's just you're not aware of it. So you have to also catch yourself while you do it, which is the hard part. Oh shit, I'm doing it again. I'm going back down that road. I'm creating problems that are not there. I'm always looking for something that's wrong, even though everything is perfect. It's great. So when you change that, you start getting more comfortable with things being okay. And oftentimes, think of it this way, Nicola. The reason why this is there, it's because probably at some point in your life when everything was okay, something bad happened. And so in your subconscious, what you're thinking is like, if I react, if I relax, and if I am at peace, that's when something bad's going to happen and I'm not going to be ready to catch it. So that's all it is. Okay. So that's all it is. It's just your subconscious mind expecting the worst, because it's almost like I rather the devil that I know than the devil that I don't know. I rather the familiar pain than something unfamiliar to come in and surprise me. That's all it is. But you got to give yourself some credit and say, hey, enough is enough. I've got something good going. I'm not going to fucking waste it and trash it. But it's all in here. So start doing the affirmations and start catching yourself creating problems when there's no problems. Okay? But you can deal with stuff too. It's just we're used to giving our power away, guys. You know, you can handle it. And it's nice to have somebody there, by the way, who can help us. Okay? That's the other thing. We do need each other. But you gotta do the work, my friend. If you don't do the work, you're not gonna change. That's the reality. This is why most people, and I got a lot of crap actually online one day. I didn't get into a debate with somebody, but somebody got mad at me because I said something like, healing is not easy and healing is actually can be very painful because you're breaking cycles, you're stretching out of your comfort zone, you're going into unfamiliar territory, you're doing things that are like, you got to do the work. It's hard. And somebody was like, I hope that nobody ever follows you. That is a terrible thing to say. And I'm like, well, if it was so easy, then why doesn't everybody heal? You know, I'm like, that makes no sense. But I try not to debate with people online. But, you know, it's like one of those things I'm like, think, you know. Nice. So I'm going to hold you accountable, Nicola. And I want you for this week, please just try to do affirmations every day. If you want, also go on to, if you go into my main page, you can find my website, and there you can find my YouTube. And I do have, I believe, like a lot of shadow work stuff, and I talk about affirmations and all that sort of stuff. So just go and do that and practice it, because there's a technique to affirmations. So obviously not going from 0 to 1 million. You got to do baby steps with affirmation. You can't go from I'm broke to I'm a millionaire. You're not going to believe it. It's like I'm learning how to heal my money wounds. I am growing financially, like things that baby steps to build up to that. So do the practice every day, Nicola, okay? And I'm going to hold you accountable as well, because I'm going to be back next week and I want you to tell me how it went, okay? And guys, on the days that you don't want to do it, that's the day you got to do it. People sometimes don't want to hear healing is hard work. They would rather, yes, exactly, Sue, 100%. You know, that those hacks that people hear about. Listen, I would love a hack too, man. But like, we're talking about some serious stuff, generations and trauma and like subconscious things. It's like, if it was that easy, the world would be healed. Like, and I mean, I get it, but it's still sad to hear people thinking like that. And it's just sad. But luckily, many of you get it. So that's the main thing. All right, Nicola, I'm going to move on, but I've given you what you need today, okay? So it's up to you, my love. And you've got this. You deserve love, and you're worthy of love, and you deserve peace above everything else and safety. So your affirmation should be, I am safe in. I am safe in. So safe is the key word for you, okay? All right, I'm going to move on, my love, but sending you love. April, you're next. Yes, safe. That's the big one for you. I am safe in a safe relationship. I am safe in a healthy relationship. I am safe to be at peace, you know? I'm safe to be a badass bitch. All right. You're welcome, my love. So just waiting for April now. And then let me see what the time is. Cool. Yes. So then I'll be able to take more questions after that, but just wait until then, guys. My YouTube channel is Meditation Channel. So if you go to my profile, it gives you my website and you can follow it through there. And of course, guys, I've got a million stuff on here on Insight Timer, of course, meditations and stuff. So feel free to check those out. They will all help you very much. Okay, April. So I'm just going to disconnect from Nicola. Jacqueline, haven't been on a live in a long time. Yeah, I know. Really good to see you. Thank you. Question. Oh, I see the rats. My little ratatouilles. I had to take one to the vet the other day. My temporary move to Oregon is up in a few months, but just had surgery, long recovery time. I could gather family to help with the move or wait till next year. I'm on the fence. When and where, lol. Move soon next year. Are you safe with your family? Like, do you feel like whenever you're around your family, because for me, like, especially when I'm in a vulnerable state, I don't allow my family anywhere near me. Like, not with a 10-foot pole. Like, if I'm around my family, I got to be in a very strong headspace because it seems for some reason the pattern within my family is that whenever I'm vulnerable, the abuse kicks in for some reason. They get weird shit happens. I don't know why they do that. They must have an issue with vulnerability. And so they essentially do bad things and it makes it worse for me. So if I'm in a vulnerable state, I don't ask help for my family. Which is sad because of course that's where you would like to have your family. And again, they're not bad people. They don't mean to do it on purpose, but that's the cycle, the subconscious cycle within that, my family. Yes, all good. My kids would help, love me. Okay, great. Well, then that's a great thing. So I would suggest if you want the help, go for it. But that's the one thing I will say to people because it's natural when we're in a vulnerable state or when we need help to go and ask for help from our family. But if it's like that, then don't. It took me a long time to learn that, unfortunately. And I told my husband as well, I was like, dude, if I'm ever in a bad situation, do not call my family. Do not. I was like, let me die peacefully because I would rather that. Tell him after the fact. I'm like, no. Oh, bless him. They try in their own way. I think they try to make you tougher by thinking it's like, yeah, just be tougher or like get over it or it's not a big deal. And then it's like, it creates more trauma for me basically. So it's not good. And I got a lot of stories. Like the most recent one when I accidentally I ran myself over with my husband's car. It's a whole story. The car went in the house. I was pinned underneath. And I called my dad the next day just to tell him. I was like, hey, like this happened. And he was like laughing at me and called me an idiot. So, and I was just looking for some comfort and some love. And I had 10 staples in the back of my head. My arm, I don't know if you guys can see it, but I got a dent in my arm because the door, see the dent? the door shut on my arm. Yeah. Sorry, I walked away. They don't even know how I walked away. But yeah, that's an example. You know, you're very fragile, and I wanted my dad. I wanted my daddy. You know, I wanted him to say, "Are you okay? I love you. Oh my God." He literally just cracked up laughing and called me a fucking idiot. So very vulnerable, but it's like, guys, you can't. Like, how many times do you want to get abused? And again, he doesn't know that he's doing that. He thinks he's hilarious. But it really broke me because I was just like so fragile in that moment, and I didn't get what I needed. So don't do that. All right, let's see. Ooh. Yeah. I always tell that story to people. It's like, yeah, I literally drove my husband's car in the house. It's a long story, but he left the car on. I was cleaning it, and I put the mat on the gas pedal, but you can't hear it because these new cars, you can't hear them when they're on. And I stepped on the mat. The mat pushed down on the gas, and the car just went with me still attached to it. So that's how it happened, FYI, for those of you who are like wondering, how did you do that? That's how it happened. So always make sure that the car is off, especially when you're vacuuming. I feel like I need more cards for you one now. So let me just, ooh. Do we want that? Wait, I can't do two hands because then it gets confusing. I think these ones want to come up. So very interesting, my friend. You've got the incarnated vampires, you got the galactic knights, and then you got the leprechauns. So just getting more cards because it's like, yeah, like that. Ah! The sound effects have happened. Ooh, okay. So I'm going to do this one first because this is something else that's happening behind the scenes. So, yeah, ask for help. Okay. They're very clear. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And even maybe to make your decision, Nicola, because maybe you're, no, sorry, not Nicola, April. Because you might be on the fence just because, again, right now I feel like you're in a vulnerable state. You just had surgery, and it's hard sometimes to even make decisions when we're in that vulnerable state. Like, your body's still recovering. They might be like, okay, I gotta move, I gotta do this, or maybe I don't know. But it's like, this is the time to ask for help and support. And if you feel safe in that environment, then absolutely do that. Because, and it doesn't have to be even just people, it's like your spiritual team. Again, that's always like a positive. I feel like there's a protection around you, so you're going to be safe with whatever you ask. And I feel like it's also the protection, what I'm hearing for you as well, it's like you're protected in a group. So for you being around people in this situation, it's actually a good thing for you. So I feel like there's a group of people wanting to protect you, wanting to support you, wanting to help you. So don't be afraid to ask for the help. Don't be afraid to ask for the support. Be intentional with that and put yourself out there. And it's okay to be vulnerable, and it's okay to ask for help. Again, don't do what I did. pick the right people. So the other thing that I'm hearing here is like, wait for winter. So I don't know if this is to do with the move, but I think this is. So the timing wise is they're saying wait for winter to move. And I think it's like, whether it's literally winter or wherever you're going to, where it's going to be winter, or whether it's going to be winter wherever you are. But that's the timing, which I never get timing, by the way, but never say never. So wait for winter. During the coldest months, the fairy will help you manifest your most heartfelt wishes, as long as your intentions are for the highest good of all. So that's what they're saying. Okay, and then the other thing is, right now you need to surrender a little bit more. I think you're trying to control things a little bit, again, because there is just this maybe feeling of unsafety or vulnerability or whatever. And they're saying when you're feeling like this, sometimes the surrender is the energy. Sorry, like an itchy, hey, itchy nose. I haven't had that in a while. Those of you know, when I started giving readings, I used to get an itchy nose all the time. So moon energy as well, it's meaning like it's a cycle. Okay, so you're going through a phase right now, and of course you're wanting answers, but I feel like it's like give it a little bit of time because the answer is going to come to you. So it's like just be a little bit patient, and things will get clearer. And again, I keep feeling like I feel like this is the vampire energy. I don't feel like it's like somebody bad or negative around you. I feel like the vampire energy is to do with like your body healing, like your energy is drained and it's out and it's not, you're not quite yourself. And even if you had the operation like not that long ago, it takes a long time for your body to still fully recover from anything like that. So again, it's like that, be patient with yourself until your battery's recharged, and just maybe it's more in being in a space of receiving than giving. You really need to be in a space of like receiving things right now, and receiving information, receiving help, receiving peace, receiving whatever it is. Now, the Galactic Knights are here to remind you that you are a spiritual warrior destined to shine your light in the darkness. You are being called to rise above the lower energies of the world and stand in your divine strength. This situation carries karmatic ties, and there may be some cord cutting needed, offering you the opportunity for growth, healing, and transformation. Trust in your higher path and embrace the warrior within. So I feel like the karmatic pattern for you is the moving, the constant moving. I feel like every time I talk to you, like moving or wanting to go somewhere or something. So maybe there's like some card coding to do with like, I'm not sure, I'm not getting like clear information for some reason, but it could be, I think you got to trust yourself in this situation. Like, what is the negative in this, and cutting the cords with that. So whether it's running away, or whether it's like the constant move because I never find home, it could be cutting the cords of like, I trust that I'm going to find home now. Like, so I'm no longer lost or this nomad or whatever. It's like, I'm going to find the home or the thing. And again, maybe just being at peace with the fact that that's not you either. That's okay too. Leprechauns is good. Luck is on your side. Okay, so things are going to work out, April. So at the end of the day, when you get the leprechauns, I love this. Also, money means money coming in, luck, fortune. So it's going to work out. Everything's going to work out for you. But the surrender and the asking for help and surrounding yourself with the right people is the most important thing that came up. And again, the winter, wait until winter. So I don't know what that means for you. But you got to trust what this card means to you, whether it is waiting for winter, as in like, again, a time in the year that you associate to winter, or actually the time, but that's the time that you're going to be moving again. I'm not hearing anything else. Do you have any more questions? I hope that made sense. Cards pointing to Las Vegas and Santa Maria, California, or Colorado. Well, if I would say winter, I would say probably Colorado. That would probably make sense. Because again, Vegas is desert. Santa Maria, I don't know, but I'd say California again, desert, and Colorado. This is what I'm hearing is the winter. So I'm seeing winter, I'm seeing snow, and I know in Colorado there's snow, so it could mean that. So that would make sense to me. I don't see any desert energy. I'm seeing like snow energy. Snow energy. Is that even a thing? Snow energy. Makes sense. But you got to trust yourself at the end of the day, dude. You got to take this with a grain of salt. Like, again, the answers will come to you. It could be too. I mean, again, I said it could be the timing, or it could be just something that is related to you. What does winter mean to you? So I don't know. I'm really bad with like months and stuff. So it could mean a year from now if it's winter, or it could mean literally like moving somewhere where it's winter, or it could mean the timing is going to be in winter. Does that make sense? But you have to interpret that for yourself. I can't tell you that, because at the end of the day, this is your manifestation. This is your intention. So a reader can tell you information, and we got to be careful with that as well, because I don't want to be in the position of power telling you what it's going to be, because I could be wrong. And so you got to trust your own intuition here. But winter came up. So that we know that was not out of my control. That is the cards showing you that. That is the information that we've received. So you got to trust what that means to you. But if you're giving me these options between Las Vegas, Santa Monica, California, and Colorado, obviously Colorado has snow. So that's what I would associate it to. But you got to trust yourself. Okay. So if it doesn't feel right to you, then don't do it, you know? Cool. Because you guys have a lot more power in this as well. Like I've been to readers, like, and the only reason why I say this is because I've been to scammers before. And you got to be careful because people like me who are in this situation, we are reading, but we're reading energy. Like it's not concrete. And some readers are incredible and they can do that, but I don't ever want to like give yes or no answers 100% unless I'm feeling it like really solid. And you got to remember as well that we could be wrong. Always take that in the back of your head, unless it really resonates, unless it's really, really helpful, especially when you're asking about time, places, and things. You have to be accountable for that at the end of the day. So the reader can direct you and say, hey, this is what I feel. But at the same time, that is your choice. And you can change that at any point if it doesn't resonate with you, you know? So you got to remember that. Don't give people too much power. So here's the thing, April. What I would do if I were you, if it's Colorado and if it may be or may not, now it's the time to ask your spiritual team for confirmation. So what I would do is like, hey, guys, I need a sign. I need a very, very clear sign that if the next place that I'm meant to go to is Colorado, then give me signs. And what will start happening is that you will start seeing signs of Colorado everywhere if that's the meant to be. And then when you do, the thing that you need to ask is confirmation. So once you see Colorado, 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 because sometimes if I say the color, look at the color red, everything red now is going to pop out for you. Okay. So that's just how the mind works. But if you want to ask for confirmation, then you say, okay, I'm hearing that you want me to move to Colorado. Give me one more sign that is so obvious, that is not a coincidence, that I will know now 100% sure that I am meant to move to Colorado. So when you start seeing the signs, then get the confirmation. But you can also ask the same for Vegas or California. So you can say, give me the signs, show me what it is. So it's easier maybe that you ask for all three. And then when you get the sign, then ask for the final confirmation. And that's the best way to know if it's right for you or not. Make sense? I love that. April, maybe you'll find a nice and handsome ski instructor. I mean, especially if you want to settle down. I feel like Colorado is a really good place to like, if you want a family and if you want like, I mean, you already have kids, I know, but like if you want that love and settle, maybe, California is like, I mean, I was lucky to find my husband, but it's a terrible place to date in general because people come here for career and business and success, not for like love. And Vegas, I don't know much, but I find Vegas energy very chaotic and intense. So it's not for me. So for me, if I was gonna like look for love or settle down, I would definitely go for like, oh, okay, well, interesting. Yeah, just put it out there. But now that you have the answers, but I did hear winter. Okay, so that's a key. That's definitely like a key sign. So those other readers might be wrong. Jacqueline not like them. She has Peanut. Peanut is at his at my mother's-in-law's today, but I have Keats today with me. Not here because there are guinea pigs running around and things, and I don't trust Keats because he's a hunter. So, yeah. Cool. All right. Well, best of luck, April. Just keep asking for those signs, and you will get the signs. Okay. So just trust yourself. I know we love Peanut. He was such a little cutie this morning. He was getting possessive because he's like super alpha and all he wants is my attention in the morning. You're welcome. Okie doke, guys. So I've gone through the list. So I have a little bit more time today. I can't give too much time, but what I will do now, anybody who would like a quick answer, feel free now to start asking questions. I will draw a card for you and help you out. I will just to close out. And if you have any questions as well, feel free. Sure. So ask the question. I'd like a reading about physical and mental health. Okay, Lori, I just saw your message. But yeah, guys, feel free. So I'm just going to write your names down because I might lose it. Let me just see what the question is again. Physical and mental health. Interesting. Ooh, okay. They came out quick. I got like Lord of the Rings music in my head right now, as you do. Missing an opportunity, discontentment, or boredom. Open your eyes to the possibilities. Okay. Expecting the worst, self-fulfillment prophecy, sleepless nights. This is you, Lori. Good news about financial matters, wanting to do something more challenging, a new area of study. Very interesting. Okay, so what I'm hearing here, Lori, is like you mentioned mental health and physical health. I do think that there's some kind of correlation between them a little bit, in the sense of sometimes when we have a negative mindset or we're causing a lot of stress or a lot of fear, of course it affects our physical well-being, and it can, if there's already something underlying, it can amplify it in a negative way. So what I'm hearing here is your emotions are in a negative frequency, in the sense of focusing a lot on the negativity. Maybe there's a little bit of like, I don't like that word. I'm trying to look for it. I hate to say this, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but like a little bit of victim energy happening. So it's like, I don't have a lot of power to fix this, or it's not my fault, or why this is happening to me. So that kind of energy, unfortunately, because of the law of attraction, so within, so without, we do this naturally because we wanna like things to get better, but sometimes we try to heal it the wrong way, and that's what I'm hearing for you. So expecting the worst, self-fulfillment prophecy. So again, the cards are being very clear here, Laura, is that basically you're making it worse for yourself by focusing on the things that you can't change, by amplifying these negative energies. And I came from a history, by the way, of suffering from depression for most of my life. And I don't know if this is going to help you or not, but that's something that was a very hard lesson for me to learn. We can become addicted to the negative emotions. We can become addicted to depression because it's kind of serving us in a subconscious way. And so most people go, what do you mean? How can depression? How can me feeling like shit? I get it. But when I dug deep enough within myself, I became so comfortable in my depression that it became my power tool. So it was the way for me when I walked into the room, everybody knew that I entered the room. And if you've ever met somebody who's severely depressed, it's like a thick motherfucking cloud around you. And it's a repulsive energy. And so what I was doing is I was repulsing people away from me because I don't want you to come near me because I don't feel safe around you. And I realized that I was addicted to that emotion because it made me feel powerful. I didn't know how to be powerful, happy, and healed. To me, that looked like weakness. Somebody who comes in with like a happy light, especially when you're from that lower frequency, you look at people like that and you're like, you're like, whatever. So I'm not saying that this is you. I'm just showing you something that could possibly help you to dig into this and ask yourself, how is this? Oh, you've been thinking the same thing, Lori. I love that for you. And first and foremost, you're doing something about it. So when you start taking accountability, because you want to change, you're ready to change. So if you see it, it's because I'm getting actually goosebumps. So you're ready to change, my love. This card came up, which is a very good card. Okay, so good news about financial matters, wanting to do something challenging, a new area of study. So the solution for you, Lori, is that you got to get out of your comfort zone. There is no way out of it. We talked about this earlier where I said healing is painful. Healing sucks. Okay. So for me, what I started doing is like I said, I started doing affirmations. I started talking to myself respectfully, which I had never done before. All I did all day was telling myself that I was a piece of shit, that I would amount to nothing. Nobody loves me. Why would anyone give a shit about me? But guess what? Self-fulfilling prophecy. I was manifesting what I was saying. And so I was like, all right, I think that affirmations and all this sort of stuff is a bunch of woo-woo and doity stuff. But I was like, what I've been doing though hasn't been working. How's it working out for you? Not great, right? So I'm like, at this point, I have nothing to lose. So fuck it, I'm going to start doing affirmations. And I would do affirmations in the mirror. I would write them down because I was like, this is not working for me. This is really not working for me. Once you understand the mechanics of so within, so without, you got to change the within. End of story. And so I was like, well, I got to start saying nice things to myself. I got to actually having some freaking self-respect. I actually got to start saying nice and loving things, because if I want love, because deep down I know that's what we want, but I treat myself like a piece of crap. I mean, I would wake up and I could hear my inner dialogue. You're a piece of shit. No one loves you. You don't matter. You might as well kill yourself. Like, this is the stuff that I would tell myself every single day. Like, what do you expect is going to happen? So I started doing affirmations, and it felt uncomfortable. It felt almost repulsive. Why? Because you're shifting your energy. So start doing affirmations, start changing the inner dialogue. And above all, keep noticing how this is serving you, and find like, and understand that this is deep down, of course, not serving you. It's just a defense mechanism that you have built up because of some kind of trauma, because of a coping mechanism, and it's going to make you sick. There's just no way around it. So start feeding and growing the abundance that is also in you. So I went from somebody who's depressed who never gets depressed anymore, unless, of course, I had my car accident, in which case it triggered my mental stuff again. But that's normal when you have a concussion. So I spent years and years and years and years and years healing myself, and it's the best thing that I've ever done, Lori. And I don't have an ounce of depression. And I know, like, thinking about how it was, at the time, it's so painful. But it changed everything, and my life got better. I got better. People around me got better because I got better. And now I'm being of service today because of the healing that I've done. So understand that the shadow within you is just as equal as the light within you, the yin and yang. So as dark as you go, as light as you are. So that's who you really are, but that's who you've adapted to become, because that's the coping mechanism. So understand that you are actually the opposite, and that's what healing is, guys. Healing is the opposite of where you're at. If you're broke, your healing is abundance. If you're in suffering, your healing is joy. So understand that Lori, who you really are, is the opposite of where you're at. And that's who you're aiming to become. Okay. Aji, I saw you. I've got Nancy first, and then I will answer you. Namaste. Sounds angels in heaven. What are the Funimese letter sounds? Ooh, I've never heard of that. Do you mind elaborating on that, Joel? Okay, so Nancy, should I travel to France? Let's see. And Aji, I saw you, my love. I'm just going down the... Woo! Are you in a relationship, Nancy? Because I do see I did get the lovers card. So I don't know if this means that, like, your plans are not gonna follow through. Yeah, so I do feel like a relationship's coming up for you. So it might prevent you from going. I think you might want to go. Let's see if we get travel here, but a new emotional situation, message regarding a relationship with social invitations. So I don't know, Nancy. I don't know if France is probably their main concern right now, but what I am getting is that a new relationship is coming into your life. So what I heard is, like, even though you might be planning to do something, I think something's going to come in. It's going to stop you from doing it because something more important is meant to come in. But again, take it with a grain of salt. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing here. I didn't see travel, but I did see relationship. So I don't know if you want a relationship or not, but that looks like it's happening. So I do see an energy coming in, and twice it said it. A new emotional situation, message regarding a relationship or social invitation. So twice. So I don't know if that's what you wanted, but that's what you're getting. Aji, where is it? Sorry, you're welcome. It's not a bad thing. I told you love was in the air, guys, today. What should be my mantra for tomorrow? Ooh. I'm a badass bitch. Let's see what comes up. I'll get the theme around it. Okay, so reasons to celebrate: a community of friends, happy announcements regarding relationships with children, a very happy ending, coming to a full cycle, spiritual growth and insights, new beginning and delays, a change in direction that offers happiness. I feel like whatever you want to do, it's like focusing on essentially like ending the old and calling in the new. So I am open and receptive to the new. I'm open and receptive, though I feel like it's the main message that you want. You guys, Sue, I love how you guys still are going on about like Colorado. It's like, yo, there's some hot guys in Colorado, okay? You should probably go down there. Cool. The letter in speech that sound the sound of the talk. Oh, I love that, Joel. Fits perfectly. I love that, IG. Yay. Yeah, I mean, if you're referring, Joel, by the way, to like the voice and the sound and like letters, and your voice, you're doing spells. I found personally like I said, I get it when people say it's like when you swear it's like a low frequency, but I also feel like the intention is something behind it. But yes, words, your intention and how we speak and letters and everything, it's all energy, it's all a pattern, it all holds a frequency. So we can be very intentional about what we want to call in, what we're, when if we want to create a lot of money, and saying to yourself, I'm broke, I don't have any money, is not going to call that in. So you got to reframe that. I was listening to a podcast the other day where a guy was like super wealthy, and like wealthy people in general, like we're talking about the people who manifest this. He said his friend had no money, but he had millions before. And when he was trying to invest in something new, he said, currently my finances are liquidated. Like he never said, I don't have any money or I am broke. He's just saying, I don't have them physically right now. But he used the word liquidation or whatever. I can't remember the actual term, but it made sense. I was like, okay, I get it. So you're not ever going to say owning the fact that he's like, there is money, it's just not physically here right now. So how we speak, guys, it's so important. And again, speaking like before, I was like saying with the depression stuff, it's like you gotta really pay attention to the way that you speak to yourself. And I've spent years working on it, and I keep working on it because I really, really have noticed that my life changed because of the way I speak to myself. And that is the most important relationship that you're ever going to have, is with yourself. And so if the inner dialogue is crap, you're going to be manifesting crap things. It's just how it is. So guys, I've taken all the questions. Unless anybody else has any more questions, you also can feel free to ask me anything about spirituality, about a topic if you like. I've still got a little bit of time, so let me know, and if not, we can close out in a minute. But feel free. There's nothing that you can ask me, even about my business, what I do, about angels. Like, feel free. I'm here to talk and connect with you guys and hang out, even in about family, whatever it is that you want to talk about. Um, so I'm always happy to answer. And if I don't want to answer, I will not answer it. But it's very rare for me not to do that. But feel free. In the meantime, I will start putting the cards away. But yeah, so let's be intentional, guys. I think as a group as well, like really spend time, and also noticing, like one of the things that I tried to stop doing as well is like complaining, noticing how often I complain. And that's a hard one, because when you start catching yourself, it's like, oof, I did not know I was such a little bitch. I was just bitching about everything. It's like the weather and this and that. And always, again, looking for problems that aren't a problem. It's so important to, imagine shifting that energy that you're putting into creating problems into gratitude, into abundance, into intentional thinking. Like I said this morning when I went to the gym, I started playing that film in my head where I was like fighting with my dad over something that like never happened. And somehow we get into these like stories because our brain needs to create these problems because it's trying to protect us in the case that it will happen. But then I'm like, am I really going to use my morning and my energy? It's not going to put me in a good mood. And so I become aware of it and make the conscious choice to change that into something that you do want to manifest. It can really change a lot of things. So yeah. Well, cool, guys. I don't see any questions. Oh, smiley face, Joel. Thank you so much. So it's been such a pleasure, by the way, to meet so many of you guys who are new. I'm seeing such a ton of people like hanging out. I guess Friday is the day to hang out, y'all. um, I might change it from now on to Fridays, and let me know any other times that usually it's good as well. So please, guys, make sure that you go and check out my meditation. So, like I said, I'm a channeler, and what I do is I essentially channel information. And my meditations have been one of the biggest transformational tools and the healing tools that I've given people and myself. Oh, thank you, Nancy. It's been so nice to meet you. And obviously, guys, again, it all comes down to your brain, right? This is a filter, this is a computer. And so meditation is another powerful tool that allows us to basically reprogram our mind and filter what we want and what we don't want. And we're a lot more in control of that than we think. But it does take work and it does take practice. And I'm never going to tell you here is an easy hack. I spent years and I'm going to continue for the rest of my life working on this because I don't want to be a victim to life and I don't want to be a victim to other people because I have been a victim and I can tell you it sucks. So um, Sue, for clarity, grandson lives in Vegas, daughter in California, son in Colorado, and plenty of ski instructors. You're gonna end up with a ski instructor now. I love that. Thank you so much, Jacqueline. Love your lives, your insights, and your energy. Oh, thank you so much, guys. Yeah, I'm so grateful to be able to show up and hang out with you guys. So again, might be indiscreet. Do you have ever thought about being a therapist? Yes. Although, you know what's funny? I had a therapist. So I was at one point, I had a complete nervous breakdown at one point, many years ago. And luckily, I had to pack up everything in LA. I live in Los Angeles right now. I'm obviously Australian. And I had to pack up everything and go back to Australia because I was bedridden for 3 months. I had completely disassociated. I was non-functioning. And I was seeing a therapist and I told her, I was like, maybe I should become a therapist. And she looked at me with the most mortified, traumatized look. And she's like, you should never be a therapist. So I'm going to tell her right now, suck on that. No, I'm joking. No, I did because I think I studied a lot of, I read a lot of psychology books. And again, I don't have any degrees in that department. But I think the most powerful thing for me, the way I learned the most is doing it. So I gone from somebody who was basically diagnosed, obviously with depression, panic disorder, and she wanted to diagnose me with borderline personality disorder. She said you have very strong traits of it at the time, which I would agree actually with her. Um, but I wanted to heal really badly and I wanted to get better. And I could see so many people doing it. I was like, if they can do it, why can't I? And so I just said, well, I'm going to just spend the rest of my life working on it and seeing whether I can get better. And I'm still working on it, guys, by the way. I'm not 100% exactly where I want to be, but my God, has my life improved since I've done the work. So you just got to do the work. And also, some people like, yes, therapy is great, but you got to remember that you have a lot more power in healing yourself because there's so much information out there. There's books, there's seminars, there's lives, there's so many things out there that you can do alone without a therapist. And I'm not saying don't get therapy because therapy is definitely going to be very helpful if you get the right therapist. Um, but remember that you also have a lot of tools and access to things without having to pay a lot of money. Um, so I would start with that. If for those of you guys who are looking to heal, like I still to this day, that's all I do is I listen to podcasts and I read books and I make sure to educate myself as best as I can to help myself and hopefully other people. Um, because if you don't heal, what ends up happening is that you end up behaving in a subconscious way. And when we behave subconsciously, this is where we do dumb shit. We make bad choices. We try to overcompensate, and we've all been guilty of that. I've certainly done a ton of mistakes in my life, and it doesn't feel good, you know. So I try not to repeat, and I try to get better, and I try to hopefully get to a place where never perfect, but better and better. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like I have a lot of friends who come to me for advice, which is very sweet. I have one friend in particular who comes to me, especially when big stuff happens in their lives. And it's very, I'm very honored, but I also have given bad advice when I wasn't healed, So again, advice is great, but I would say remember only to get advice from people who, number one, have something that you want and have succeeded in something that you want. Don't take advice from just anyone because if I don't know, like for me, I Elon Musk, I don't know why he's come up, but like I would totally get advice from him about money and success and business, but I would not go get advice with him about relationships. um thank you, Dean. Diani, is that how you say it? Hopefully I'm saying it right. Thank you. Yeah, anytime, guys. So that's that, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for hanging out. I'm gonna give you a big hug. So I since this has been there's a lot of people today on this live. I don't know how many are actually hanging out, but I see 156. I don't know if there's an actual 156 people hanging out because I know sometimes it's just the people that watched and but that's a good sign. So it means probably this is a good time for me to do live. So I might change it to Fridays. We'll see how it goes depending on my week as well. But again, guys, you can find me on my Insight Time on my profile. Please make sure to follow and subscribe because I always put up a ton of meditations, courses. I'm always taking suggestions. So feel free to go and hang out and see everything that I've made. Look at my courses. I have a course on numerology, on self-worth, on shielding your energy for those of you who are empaths. That's actually my number one course that's been doing really, really well. How to connect with your angels, your spirit guides, how to find your soulmate. I have a million meditations on there. I literally create multiple meditations. I'm a meditation teacher, so this is literally what I do on a daily basis. And of course, you can find everything else about me on my profile. So I hope to connect with you guys. If you ever want to reach out, feel free. I'm just wishing you guys the most magical day, the most amazing weekend. And remember, you have the power. Okay. All right, guys, sending you so much love. Can't wait to hang out with you again next week. Love you all. Have a beautiful day. Bye. I will give peanut kisses for you, Tim. Maybe Peanut will make an appearance next week. Peanut's my dog, by the way. He's a character, so I'll bring him back next week. All right, guys. Love you. Bye.